still on his feet, inside the 20, 15, 10, he's in, touchdown ran.
Allen trying to toss it for Yarford, touchdown! Wow, what a catch! Cuts at the 5, ball loose, and Dukeman catches it for a score. Step up, gets hit as he throws, looking to the end zone, and it's caught! Touchdown, Bruins! What a catch by Alexander!
10, 5, touchdown!
25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, A.J. Turner!
And here come the Cougar Nation. Northern Region champs.
The Game Day Broadcast Network is proud to present high school football. This exclusive broadcast is being powered by Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy. Get back in the game of life. Manhattan Pizza, now serving Ashburn, South Riding, and Leesburg with the best dang pizza in the world. Verizon Wireless, the official wireless provider of the Game Day Broadcast Network. Diamond Sports Training, train with DST Performance today. Bellator Sports Memorabilia, the premier sports memorabilia store in Northern Virginia. EndZoneCamera.com, the most efficient and affordable end zone camera system on the market. The Spine and Joint Health Center, offering patients superior, results-oriented care, proudly serving Northern Virginia with the finest spine and joint care. Quarterback University, take your skill to the next level and enhance your future today. By Max Muscle Sports Nutrition. Max Muscle, partners in health. Atlanta Bread Company of Sterling. Come for the food, stay for the culture.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Game Day All-Access. I'm Andy Hayes, joined by my offensive and defensive coordinator, Bruce Bornarth. You're pretty offensive. And my defensive guy, Taylor Jensen here. How you doing, fellas?
Not bad.
Hey, we're getting close now. Backside of the schedule. Bruce, this is kind of where you start to get fatigued. Are you okay?
No, I got second win.
No, this is where his picks go downhill. This is where it goes.
Yeah.
Well, you wait till we get to the picks.
Oh,
well, I had to say before we get started.
No, don't.
Our producer, Helene Shane, went 10-0 this week in picks this past week. That's pretty impressive. Even through the rain, she went 10-0. I give you props, Helene. Nice job.
Have you heard
One
this?
game behind me still, but hey, she's coming. Hey, listen. Did you stay dry on Friday night?
Yes, I did.
I mean, this weather last week was unbelievable. And I'm going to tell you, I can't believe they played. I mean, it was raining so hard. To be honest with you, I was shocked that they even got it done. But we got some games done, and let's go ahead and hit the rewind button here. And we'll start with Chantilly and Oakton. Oakton coming into the game 4-1. Kind of riding that 4-game win streak, but Chantilly got back on track. Bruce, you questioned this. You said, I didn't think they could do it. Chantilly with a 21-7 win over Oakton. They get it done. And now maybe, at least leaning towards a pretty big showdown down the end of the season here with Robinson and Westfield.
Well, yeah, I called out Chantilly last week. I thought after those two ugly losses they had that they were going just right down the tube and not coming back out. I challenged their manhood, and they manned up in that game. Surprised me. I didn't think it was going to happen.
Yeah, DeAndre Harris with a big game in this one, and he was the difference. I mean, Oakton really didn't have an answer for him. And that running game for Chantilly kind of got back on track. That was something that was missing during the couple bad losses that they had here in the previous 2 weeks. So a big win for Chantilly. Keep an eye on the Chargers. They got talent. We'll see how they kind of continue to work toward that big showdown again toward the end of the season. How about the game at Potomac Falls? Now, we picked this one up late, so Panther fans, we apologize. Didn't have it all figured out just yet, but boy, we're glad we got this one on film. How about Wanye Allen? Now, we've been calling Wanye Allen's number, calling great shots out on the basketball court for 3 years. But he comes up with the play of the week, potentially here, with a blocked field goal or extra point in overtime here, and that saved the day for Potomac Falls. Bruce, I'm going to say this to you one time, ready? Potomac Falls is 4-2. Jason Allen doing a great job, first-year head coach. This is a huge win for the Panthers.
Well, there are people that are going to take this the wrong way, but it's not intended the way that you're going to take this. As old school Loudoun County, and going way back in the day, I hate that phrase, way back in the day. It's nice to see, and I like seeing some of these schools in the county that have not had a great deal of success over the past 10 years or so start to play some exciting games, some competitive games. We're seeing it now with Potomac Falls, with Dominion the way they're playing, with Freedom the way they've been playing. I like seeing that. I haven't seen that in ever.
Great finish. Sky Kirstein on the call there with the great call at the end of the ball game. And congrats to the Panthers. Now, the road gets a little tougher. You know, they got some big games coming up here. We'll see if they can keep it going. But, hey, good win. Taylor Jensen, let's move on to the next one here. Langley, a team that you've covered quite a bit, and this team is really pretty solid. And they showed Fairfax kind of who was boss here in this one. 28-7 was the win for the Saxons. Again, Tyler West, another big day. Probably the most under-talked about guy in the marketplace with regard to making plays for his team week in and week out.
No, absolutely. They run that read option almost flawlessly. No one seems to be able to come up with an answer for it. And ever since that Stonebridge game where they almost upset the Bulldogs, people kind of started noticing. But that Chantilly game just put them over the top. And in all honesty, Langley's a team you don't want on your schedule the rest of the year. They're a team that honestly could run the tables from here on out, make some noise in the playoffs. Who knows? Maybe even make some noise in their regional playoffs. So this is a team that really is starting to gain momentum as the year progresses, and guys are starting to gel a lot better. Coaching staff getting it done out of Langley. And that's another one of those teams you talked about where, you know, they haven't had a lot of great seasons, and now they're finally starting to put it together, having some success, and the community's all bought into it. I mean, I told you about the Chantilly game. They had to move the rope over because the student section had packed it out so much they had to give them more space. So I like what Langley's doing right now, and I think it'll continue for the next few seasons.
Yeah, I tell you, the quarterback, Nick Casso, is a guy that's really playing well also. And, you know, they've always had a great line. But now the big guys combined with the running back, the quarterback, it's really been a great difference here for them this year compared to in years past. So congrats to Langley, keeping it going. All right, moving on here as we keep it going. Stonewall and Battlefield. I did it again, Bruce. I got bit again by Battlefield. And congrats to the Bobcats. They pulled out the opposite of what happened a year ago. 41-38. They win this one on a last-second field goal. This was a great game on Monday night. And Tim Blank was lucky to have called this one. He had several huge plays in this game that you'll see on the top 10 plays. Listen, this was a statement win by Battlefield. Don't count us out just yet, Bruce. And we've been doing that here on the show. You can't do that with Mark Cox's club, can you?
You got a mouse in your
pocket?
pocket?
You've been doing it too. You picked against them too.
I haven't called out Battlefield all year long. I know that you bang your head against the wall so many times it hurts. I learned that. Obviously, you haven't.
I haven't.
You keep banging it on the wall. We're three-quarters of the way through the season, and you're picking against Battlefield. I don't care if Battlefield is playing whoever. Take Battlefield. Yeah, are they going to go undefeated in history? No, but I'm going to tell you, you'll win more than you lose picking Battlefield. You don't have to look at anything else. Just Battlefield. Are we through halfway of the season? Take them.
Well, the thing that you have to look at now with the way the Bobcats are playing is they're starting to put it together. This could be the scariest team going into the 6A playoffs. And, you know, we've been talking about Centerville and Lake Braddock and all these unbeatable teams. Folks, listen, Battlefield has done it in the past. They won the 2010 state championship, and nobody said they could beat Hermitage, a faster, better athletic team. You know what? That's not how it played out. So you got to get your eyes on Battlefield right now. If they keep going and they get hot down the stretch, look out. This could be an interesting club to watch. All right, time for us to switch gears now. Monday Night Football. Hey, when Bruce and I get to call a game together, it's pretty special, right, buddy? And you know, I've had kind of a bad spell of bad games. I mean, just blowouts, every one of them. So I called my partner here and I said, Bruce, you got to help me. Every game you call seems to be exciting. Bruce, did we have a great one on Monday night at Broad Run or what?
Did you get fed as well?
I got fed. Spartans, hey, the Spartans, they gave us some entertainment. Now, this game looked like it was going in Tuscarora's way. 3 quarters, they had somewhat dominated this game up front running the football. But Broad Run with their defense stood tall on the goal line. 4th and 1, they stop them. They go 99 yards. Right after that, get it back, score again, and they hold them to win 21-17. This is one of the great comebacks, and I'm interested to see what it does for Broad Run going into this game coming up on Friday.
Broad Run's going to be just fine. They are where they want to be right now. But you look at that game, it was 17-6 Tuscarora at halftime. Spartans pitch a shutout in the second half. They come back to win it 21-17. A lot of times you can look back and say, all right, that's the play that changed the game. There were 2 plays, back-to-back plays in this game that totally, completely changed the game. The 4th and goal from the 1 to stand by the defense. And then on 1st down, they go 36 yards from the back of the end zone for down the sideline, and they scored in 8 plays in that drive.
Yep.
But those back-to-back plays, if they don't hit that pass on first down, it's a whole different game.
Yeah, Travis Fulgham with a great route and great catch. And Brady Reitzel, I thought, really kind of stepped up big time in this game and started delivering the football like we've seen him in previous games. He came up big. So this is a huge win for Matt Griffiths and the Spartans, and it sets up a great showdown now on Friday night against Briarwoods in the Battle of Ashburn Round 2. We'll call it the Battle of a Better Cause. We'll talk about that a little bit more here during the show. But Broad Run still with only 1 loss on the season. Hey, great win for them. All right, last game to talk about here, Centerville-Westfield. I've been telling you all year long. All the other Concord teams, they don't believe me. All the other teams around the region don't believe me about Centerville. Have I not been telling you about Centerville? They are who I've said they are. They beat Westfield 28-0, Bruce. This wasn't even close. You were there. It wasn't even close.
I was there. Centerville is that good. The gap between them and the rest of at least the old Concord district is there. I don't know. Lake Braddock is somewhere, I guess, in the middle between that gap. But Centerville is really that good. Has Westfield ever been shut out? I can't remember that.
It's been a long time.
You don't shut out Westfield. Yeah, it was 28-0. It was 21-0 was really the ball game. Centerville got a score late, which you can count or not count if you want. But you don't shut Westfield out. Centerville did.
The weather did not affect Centerville whatsoever.
Either team.
But it affected Westfield some. They couldn't really do a whole lot offensively in this game. I felt like it was a little bit more of a problem for them. I will say this, and we've all been there. We've seen a team beat a team in the regular season and then have it come back in the postseason, and it's a different story. And that Westfield team has enough players now. If they start to get things going down the stretch, listen, if I'm Centerville, I don't want to see them again in the postseason. That game does not sit well with me. They think they could have beaten them twice as bad. I'm just telling you, though, we've seen it. Well, Chantilly Westfield is a great example back in 2006. The same thing, Bruce.
But the point I would make on that, the last time we saw it was Centerville did it to Westfield. So Centerville's the last team I remember that actually did that.
Yeah, but that means it's their turn.
No. So they're ready for it not to happen. And besides that, they're that good.
I believe you.
The only way it's going to beat Centerville.
I agree with you. My whole point to you is this. If I'm Centerville, and they'll say, hey, bring it on. That defense and Chad Wiggins, they don't care. They'll take on anybody. But I'm telling you, that's one that, I think Westfield chomping at the bit to get another shot on a dry field on a nice night in November. Remember I said that. That's it for our rewind here. Listen, folks, we've got a great show lined up for you here tonight. We're going to talk to some folks from the Briarwoods football team and the Broad Run football team. The Battle of Ashburn's coming up. We got some of the players here tonight. We'll introduce you to those guys here coming up on Gameday All-Access. And Bruce is going to eat some crow inside the huddle. You don't know that yet, but you are.
Okay.
We're coming back here on Gameday All-Access right after this.
My name is Dr. Felix Yuskin, and both my wife and I own the Spine and Joint Health Center here in Fairfax City. I'm originally from this area. I grew up and went to Robinson High School. Played football for the Robinson Rams there, graduated in '91. One of the advantages that a student athlete has here is they always have, the parent that always has access to me. So here in our office we have access to, ultrasound, muscle stem, Russian stem, things to strengthen, take the inflammatory response out of the joint process for those athletes so that they recuperate much faster. At the Spine and Joint Health Center, we would like to be your team doctors so that we can go down this journey together, both on and off the field.
The Spine and Joint Health Center, offering patients superior, results-oriented care, proudly serving Northern Virginia with the finest spine and joint care.
When ice and rest aren't enough, it's time for you to call Robin O'Connor at Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy. Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy provides Loudoun and Fairfax with the finest physical therapy around. Hundreds of high school athletes have trusted Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy to help them get back on the field. Don't let that injury go untreated. Call Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy today at 703-724-7474 or visit us online at integratedsportspt.com. It's where athletes go to get back in the game.
The Gameday Broadcast Network is proud to present high school football. This exclusive broadcast is being powered by Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy. Get back in the game of life. Manhattan Pizza, now serving Ashburn, South Riding, and Leesburg with the best dang pizza in the world. Verizon Wireless, the official wireless provider of the Gameday Broadcast Network. Diamond Sports Training, train with DST Performance today. Bellator Sports Memorabilia, the premier sports memorabilia store in Northern Virginia. EndZoneCamera.com, the most efficient and affordable end zone camera system on the market. The Spine and Joint Health Center, offering patients superior, results-oriented care, proudly serving Northern Virginia with the finest spine and joint care. Quarterback University, take your skill to the next level and enhance your future today. By Max Muscle Sports Nutrition, Max Muscle, partners in health. Atlanta Bread Company of Sterling, come for the food, stay for the culture.
Welcome back to Game Day All-Access. I'm Andy Hayes, and right now in our feature interview number 1, I'm glad to be joined by the quarterback and the offensive lineman at Briarwoods here, Trace McSorley and Jared Coker. Gentlemen, welcome to the set here at Game Day. How you doing?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having us.
Okay, now he's always been the guy that's had your back out there on the field, and so I know you didn't want to come tonight without him. Talk a little bit about, being able to line up behind him and knowing he's going to take care of you and keep you off the ground.
No, it's just, just having that faith and just being completely comfortable, not having to worry about, the kind of, they say, that mental clock that a quarterback has to have. Mine's a little bit longer than some guys might have because I got guys that can't block for me, so it's comforting.
Listen, Jared, all I ever hear about is, the quarterbacks and all, and the skill guys, and the offensive linemen don't ever get any love.
Yeah.
Okay? So I kind of said tonight, we're going to give Jared and the O-line a little love. Now, you're one of 5 up front. So I want you to tell the other people here on camera who your buddies are up there in the trenches that deserve some love, because you guys have been pretty good up there.
All right. Well, we got our got John Hirsch. He's our right guard, and he does a heck of a job pulling. He goes up in that hole and he hits really hard. Got Mac as our center. It's his first year starting, and he's done a very good job. Just being a leader for the interior guys. And snapping the ball, he's done a great job. Played a lot like our center last year. And then we have our left guard. His name's Brian Capizzoli, and he plays both sides of the ball. But he's just a tank going in through on the pulls as well, and always open up big holes for the running backs. And then our left tackle Daryl Ramey. He's always making big hits, likes to run down the field. Make those big hits. And he just does a great job pass protecting. And provides Trace just a lot of time.
Well, you just make sure you tell them that I got you here to give them some love. You got me?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
All right. Hey, listen, I want to ask you both about the North Stafford game. All right? This was a ball game that didn't go your way for the first time in 33 contests. And I was just curious what you guys learned after that game about your team this year, because it's always a different team every year. What's the one thing you drew from that game that you think will help you down the road?
Probably the biggest thing was just how we were able to rebound. Going up against adversity, being able to come back and, work even harder. Some teams, you'll lose a game and it'll crush your team and you won't be able to rebound as well. But us being able to rebound like we did, it was a big thing for us, just knowing that, we can go up against adversity and come back, even stronger.
How about you, Jared?
The biggest thing I took from the game, I was up against a guy who was really good. The biggest thing I took was I got a lot of experience, but not only that, the biggest thing was, kind of like taking in a loss, because it's been so long, and having to learn how to overcome that. I felt like I really grew up a lot from that in a way, but and it just left such a bad taste in my mouth that, I came out, even more angry than I've ever been on the field.
Well, this is the first year that you guys have jumped up to 5A play, and your schedule's been considerably tougher, which we kind of knew that was going to happen here. Jared, your thoughts on what the biggest difference has been for you guys playing some of these teams that you normally wouldn't have on your schedule back in Division IV?
Well, most of the time, it kind of seemed like we were used to the teams that we play, and now that we're playing some different teams outside of what we usually play, it kind of just was a little bit different, and I think some of the problem, with North Stafford was, we just had a lot of different teams that we played, and, just things like that happened. But overall, it's just been kind of, it's been different. But, since we're back to our normal schedule now, we know what most of these teams do and what their tendencies tend to be more.
Well, in fairness, Briarwoods was not healthy going into that game. There were several guys that weren't playing. And one guy that you're getting back on the offensive side of the ball here that should help things is Brandon Polk. Talk a little bit about what he does to change the game and to change, really the way you guys play offensively when he's out there.
I guess one thing that I've noticed is since we got him back, is, our offense just goes fast. We want teams to have to line up quick and have to try and get them into man-to-man situations where we can utilize either Brandon in a slot or Melvin or Tristan Carter outside, Tristan Miller inside, any one of those guys. But having Brandon back, it gives us that vertical threat. Guys line up. On one guy against Brandon, they might be another yard or two back off just because of the speed threat he gives. Being able to run jet sweeps with a guy like him that we kind of do, being able to get outside and get an edge on the team, just spreading teams out, it just helps us out. Spread them out, running the game, widen, make them play a little bit deeper passing, and open up lanes inside for us.
Jared, one guy that didn't get a chance to come back is Nick Merletti. I want you to talk about him a little bit. How much is this offensive line playing for him this year? He's going to miss his senior year because of a knee injury.
Every game I play, the first thing that comes to my mind is him. He was a big inspiration to me, watching him being a freshman, come straight out of, middle school and to come in and play high school football at a pretty, decent level. He was a big inspiration for me and motivated me a lot. The biggest thing our O-line does is, we think about before every game and we talk about it, that any play can be your last play. And, he is really kind of just the fact that, even though he's out, he is such a big part of our team still. And no matter what kind of happens, we know that he was, such a big contributor and still is. And
I hear he's trying to call plays now instead of Coach Pierce over there. Coach DeVelli, I think he's fighting for time on the headsets here. All right, listen, let's turn our attention towards Broad Run. I mean, everybody knows there's a big game coming up Friday. Now, you guys, a little different than Broad Run. You've been sitting off for a week, getting healthy, resting, watching everybody else this past weekend. How antsy are you to play this game?
I'm ready. It's been a couple weeks since we've been out against an opponent playing a game, so got kind of a little bit of built-up energy. Going against your guys is great. You get good work, but it's always a little bit different. You got a little bit more adrenaline when you're going against an opponent, and going against opponents, every weekend kind of get rid of some of that adrenaline. Every week it's been good, but now it's kind of pent up a little bit. It'll be interesting to see how we come out on Friday night.
Broad Run, Briar Woods, you always play physical, tough games. Last year's game came down in the fourth quarter. Year before it was close. They got you on your home field. I know you guys haven't forgotten that. Jared, give me a little pulse on this rivalry. Where's it at right now?
I'm ready to go. Like Trace said, I haven't done anything for a while. I've been practicing. I've been ready to go out and hit somebody. And I think, this is the perfect week, for me to do it because, we're all ready to play. Just kind of ready to go out there and just, fight and fight until the end of the game.
Walk me through the game is about to start. You guys are about to walk out of that tunnel and out of the end down there and come out and you see the crowd. Because this is one of those games where it's almost like the movie Field of Dreams where people are trying to get into the parking lot and they're, the lights are on a mile and a half away. This is one of those unique atmospheres. Just reflect on that for a second. What's it like? What's it like to put that helmet on and go out to that, Trace? It's got to be pretty special, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely. It gives you chills as a player. Just coming out, you run through that banner, and you just hear the crowd cheering. Both stands are full. Your student section's going crazy. I remember back to my freshman year, it was very shocking. It was just kind of awestruck. You walk through and you just see all those people there, and they're watching you. It's the biggest spotlight that you've been in to that point. So it's a big thing. It's humbling to an extent because you've never been in a situation like that, but it's very exciting just to run through and seeing everyone there, and it gives you a little bit of butterflies, nervous. Everyone's watching you. So it's fun. It's nerve-wracking, but you gotta love it.
All right, Jared. So here's the deal. Broad Run's coming off a big win on Monday night. They're gunning for you, man. They want to take you guys down. Has the intensity of this rivalry been felt by this team based on watching what they did on Monday and knowing that they're excited to come in? They got something to prove. What do you think?
Yeah, Coach Pierce has been ready, getting us ready to practice for sure. Practice has been a lot more intense, because it's just overall it's just a big game every year. No matter how good or bad one team is, it's always even, when it comes to this game for some reason.
Well, it's going to be a great atmosphere. Now, listen, this game is always a neat game for another reason, too. And I'm going to hold up this T-shirt here that Trace gave me here tonight to show you guys. This is the game for better. What is it? It's a battle for a better cause. That's what we're calling it here. And the first year it helped raise funds for Ryan DeVinny, who was the former Broad Run player who was injured horribly up in a fight up in West Virginia. And we helped in the first year raise funds for that with this ball game. This one is going to help the ipromise15.org foundation, which is for Gavin Rupp, a former Ashburn young man here who lost his life to cancer this past off season. And it's a great cause. Just talk to me a little bit about playing not only in this great game but also for a great cause.
It just goes to show the kind of community that we live in, how fortunate some of us are to kind of be here, and how we're split for the 2 hours that we're going at it. I guess you got the division between the teams, but after the game, really, it's one community. We're all together, and we want this to be the best community that we can. So it's it's a great thing being able to come together. The past 3 years, we've always done it, and it's just kind of raise the stakes just a little bit higher, and just realize that life is about more than just a game. There's a greater price that is unfortunately haven't been paid. So it's humbling for the players on the field to know that we get to go out and it's just a game that we're playing, and that gives us a little bit something extra to play for.
How about you, Jared?
It really just kind of shows, like Trace said, the community around here, and how people really will come together when something something really goes down. And like Trace said, it's not just about the game. It's about someone that's been hurt, and things like that.
Yeah, it's a great thing. Now, these T-shirts can be purchased by you out there in the community online at ipromise15.org, or you can also come to the game. I think they have them on sale at the schools and so forth. Folks, go get your T-shirt. 100% of the proceeds go to help the foundation here, established in the name of Gavin Rupp. A great cause. Make sure you guys support it. All right, I got to ask you a couple quick questions. I'm going to put you on the hot seat. Are you ready?
Ready.
Because these have been real easy. All right, number one. Listen, everybody, if you watch Game Day, you know that Bruce Bornarth and Taylor Jensen, they are die-hard Briarwoods guys. So do you have a favorite? I mean, do you prefer Bruce or Taylor in the booth? I mean, is there any sort of preference that you have, Jared? What do you think?
I really like them both.
Don't sit on the fence. If you had to pick one to go out and have a burger with, who are you going with?
I guess Taylor.
Taylor?
Taylor.
He's a little cooler, isn't he? What about you, Trace? What do you think?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to go with Bruce on this one. He's just kind of been around for a little bit longer.
Yeah, a lot longer, not a little bit.
Well, no,
longer.
I mean, since I've been really paying attention.
Yeah.
But, I've seen him. He's came out to see last year, see him at Glory Days a couple times after the game. So, getting to talk to him a little bit more. Taylor's a cool guy. I get to talk to him too. But I probably liking a little bit more to Bruce just over the years.
I'm starting to question his, mental capacity right now to understand, right from wrong here. But Jared, I'm with you. I mean, Taylor's a little cooler.
I got to be a little bit fair to Bruce.
You got to
give him props.
I like that. Listen, guys, great season so far, great run. I mean, you guys have had a tremendous career, both of you seniors. Trace, I want you to just, before we go, reflect a moment. I mean, now you're a senior. There's a couple years ago you're in this game and it was wide-eyed, freshman. Here we are now 4 years later, and you're playing in this ball game last time. What do you think?
It doesn't feel like 4 years. It's gone so fast. I still remember, plays that happened my freshman year exactly. Throwing a touchdown pass, or even throwing an interception my freshman year. Still remembering those games. I still get chills thinking about those games. It seems like it was just yesterday, but just how fast it's gone. And, how the rivalry has grown. It's great to have been in it. It's an honor to have been in it, and hoping I can come out and get one more win Friday night.
How about you, Jared?
I can completely agree with him. It's just been kind of, I feel like I remember that very first play of, my varsity football career and throughout my freshman career, and it's just kind of, I remember plays, that feels like they were just last week, and it's been one, amazing ride, and I just, couldn't be more thankful for, the opportunities I've been given by not just my coaches, my family, and things like that, and it's just, it's been a pretty amazing ride.
Well, I tell you what, I'm jealous of both of you. You get to go experience this one more time here. Maybe not. Maybe in the playoffs. You never know.
That would be interesting.
This is going to be a great atmosphere. Enjoy it. Both of you have a great time, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, folks, we're going to step aside here on Game Day All-Access. We'll see if Trace and Jared will arm wrestle here over Taylor and Bruce. I think Jared might get him on that one. We'll step aside. We'll be back right after this.
For us, we have my oldest son. We have 3 boys who've come through here. My oldest is 13, so we've been started coming to the camps probably about 7 years ago. It's really good for him. This is his home away from home during the summer, and been real good for his confidence building. The counselors are great. He interacts with them really well, and so when we've got each successive kid to get old enough to come here, and they've been really nice to let us come even a little early and do the full day camps for the younger guys. Same thing, it's a real good confidence builder. They build up relationships with the coaches, and so that's kind of how it all started. And then we've brought them here for individual instruction, top notch, and brought teams in here as well. So this is the best facility in the area, hands down, for our money.
Come by and visit Diamond Sports Training today, where baseball season never ends.
Welcome back to Game Day All Access. Here, Andy Hayes alongside Bruce Bornarth and Taylor Jensen. It's time now for Inside the Huddle, and today we're playing a little fact or fiction. Some tough topics here. We'll throw them around with our quarterback, Taylor Jensen. Take it away, my man.
First up, we got a fact or fiction right off the bat that, honestly, for the past few years, this wouldn't even be talked about. Fact or fiction, Ashburn won't have a state champion this year. Andy.
I'm going to start buying this one a little bit. I don't think there's a dominant football team in Ashburn like there has been since 2007. I just see too many other good teams in 5A, and that's what we're talking about here. It's 5A, North and South. Now, not so much the South, but, boy, you're talking about a couple teams that are really on my radar that they're going to have to get through to win a state title. I mean, Massaponax is really playing well. Bruce, we saw them a couple years ago against Stonebridge. They run that triple option. They're a disaster to prepare for. And then you got North Stafford. I mean, they're a club. But how about LC Bird? Nobody's talking really about them. Undefeated. They're taking care of business. They won the Division 6 championship a year ago. Those are 3 teams that I think are going to stand in the way from Ashburn having another state championship.
Yeah, you may be right, but I'm going to have to go the other way with that. 6 out of the last 7 years, I think it is, Ashburn has had a state champion. The only thing that really is of concern, other than those schools, the rest of the state, is, like Andy said, they're all in the same division now. They were split before. You had Broad Run and Stonebridge in Division 5. You had Briarwoods, Tuscarora, I think at the time, was in Division 4. Now they're all in Division 5, and they have to go through each other at some point before we get to that state championship game. But at this point, statistically, you got to stick with it. 6 out of the last 7 years.
Well, I mean, again, it's been Titletown, but the road is tougher this year than it has been.
Yeah, all right, next up. Patriot, the little brother of Battlefield, some people I call it, we're going with that, is a legit contender. Fact or fiction, Bruce?
I think you have to say contender for how far? A contender to make the playoffs? Probably so. A contender to win a state title? No. They're not ready for that. They're not in that league yet. This is just a very young school. You got to go through your lumps. You got to pay your dues before you get there. A lot of times you have to experience what the other side of the coin is before you go through that wall. And I think that's the case with Battlefield. With Patriot being in 6A. Come on, you're up against Centerville. You're up against Lake Braddock. You're up against Battlefield. So
I mean, right now they're the number 3 seed. I mean, in the postseason. And listen, I'll tell you what gives me hope about them. They're only giving up 14 points a game. They're scoring 35. I mean, they're doing it right on both sides of the ball. Now, for Bruce to say they're their contender, it's hard for him because he doesn't give any young program any benefit of the doubt. But this might be a different story. This might be a program that got a lot of talent from Battlefield a couple years ago. They may be a little more seasoned than you think they are, and they're playing like that. Remember, they've already beaten Hilton. I mean, Hilton's in our top 10. They're no slouch. So I'm buying that they're a contender. I think they're for real. I really feel like this Patriot team is better than what my partner is talking about here. Keep an eye on the Pioneers.
All right, fact or fiction again. The favorites in all the divisions this year are clear. Clear cut. No one's questioning it. Andy, fact or fiction?
Fact all the way. I'm convinced of this. We could probably predict who will be in the sectional finals and then the state championship round as well. I feel like we could look ahead right now. I don't feel any guesswork. Now, I'm not necessarily going to tell you that right now. We'll do that in the mailbag. But, Bruce, I feel like it's clear cut. I kind of see who the teams are that are going to be there.
I think it's fiction. There's still teams have 2 and 3 games left before the season is over. Division 5 or 5A right now, you just look at the 4 teams in Loudoun County. 1 game separates them, and there's a lot to be played and a lot to be decided between those teams. I think the water is as muddy as can be when you're in Division 5. You want to talk about Division 6 with some of the teams that have moved out? Yeah, it might be a lot clearer there. Centerville is that good. We've been saying that week in and week out, and the Wildcats keep proving that so. Lake Braddock is also very good, but Centerville is that good. I think that's the clearest picture right now.
I mean, again, you say that. You just argued my point. I mean, we know who the teams are. I mean,
in Division 6.
But the favorites in Division 5, I just mentioned them. In 5A, 6A, I mean, we already know. 4A even, we already know who the favorites are.
4A, I mean, you could even say, I mean, you got Dominion sitting in first place right now in the Dulles District. I mean, there's still a lot of shuffle work to be done out there.
The game always has to be played. But let me just tell you, in 4A, there's less question than ever before on who the favorites are. Phoebus and Lake Taylor.
Oh.
Come on, folks. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that one out.
All right, this year, I like this question. Playoffs are going to be more entertaining than usual. Fact or fiction? Andy, I'm going to give you this one again.
You know what? I think it's going to be a fact because you're going to see some different matchups. You know, I mean, the first couple rounds in the past, I don't know, 4 or 5 years really haven't been that great. I mean, maybe an upset here or there, but most of the time the favorites win and everybody moves on. I don't know if that's going to be the case this year. I think there's going to be some teams that you don't expect to see win in round 1 that will win. And it's just because there's more, there's more different matchups that are going to be played in these playoffs. I like it. I think it's going to be exciting.
I agree 100%. I think it is fact. There's so many variables. When you take 16 teams and seed them 1 through 16, almost like the NCAA tournament, you have upsets left and right. Yeah, are you going to see a 16 beat a 1? Probably not. But you get down around those, 12, 13, 14 seeds, and you're going to see an upset or two along the way. The variables are different. You've got teams now. In the past, you won your district, you played at home. Well, that's not the case anymore. You might be top dog in your district, but you might be driving 2 hours to go play somewhere. So the whole, and as Andy said, teams that you didn't see before. I think the variables have increased dramatically, and I can't wait.
All right, next up, I want all of you Ashburn homers, whether it's Stonebridge, Briarwoods, Broad Run, to pay attention and watch these two dig some holes. Because this next question is going to get you all riled up. Massaponax is the best team in 5A North. Bruce.
I don't think so. How can you say that? I mean, Massaponax is pretty good, but I don't think you can say that. I like North Stafford. North Stafford's really good. And then you have the 4 teams up here. Let's wait and see what happens in that little round-robin tournament thing between Tuscarora, Broad Run, and Briarwoods. Let's not forget, how many state titles has Massaponax won? I don't know. How many state titles has Ashburn won? 6 in the last 7 years.
This is fact. I mean, you just look at the PowerPoint ratings, and that's who's on top in 5A. They're the best team in 5A right now. Fact. Now, will they be the best team at the end of the year? We'll find out. Bruce, I'm going to tell you something about Massaponax.
They have the most points.
They have the best record and best power points in the whole area, okay, in 5A North. Here's the fact about Massaponax. They're the team nobody wants to play. The triple option is one of those schemes that just gives coaches nightmares because all it takes is one guy to get out of position and your whole defense falls apart. They take it the distance. It's a very, very difficult defense to come up with to stop that offense. Triple option has always been that way. Now, that's why teams try to run it. That's very hard to run unless you have a great quarterback. Now, Massaponax a few years ago had that guy. We're hearing they've got that guy again. So what that means to me is not only are they having a great season and they're winning the games that they're supposed to win, but they're doing it with a scheme that I don't think any of our schools up this way, number one, are used to seeing, number two, want to see in the postseason, and probably don't match up well against it. I'm telling you, that makes them the favorite. And they'll probably be, like we said, the 1 seed in 5A North here. I think they're going to be the 1 seed going into the postseason. So that means you're going to their house, man. You're going to their house to play on their turf, and there won't be a mud bowl this year. down there where the ball disappears on the kickoff. That ain't happening. So remember I said that.
All right, next up we got the branch off from what was formerly called the Dulles District, the Potomac District. A lot of good district races going on right now, but is the Potomac District, do they have the best race overall, top to bottom? Bruce.
Pure fact, no doubt about it. You look at again, I go back to, it seems like the theme of this show is Ashburn. We're not talking a whole lot about Fairfax and the rest of those schools. And rightfully so. The one game separates Broad Run, Tuscarora, and Briar Woods, and it's going to be played out within the next 3 weeks. How can it get more compelling than that?
And don't forget about Potomac Falls. I mean, they're 4-2. Now, they haven't played anybody real tough here, but they're within a game of everything. So, look, it's fact, but let's give the Dulles District some love here, too. I mean, you got Dominion. You've got Loudoun Valley, who are both good football teams. You have Loudoun County and Woodgrove playing. I mean, there's 4 teams in that district as well that are competing for a district opportunity. Now, again, the districts have kind of gone away, but the teams are still fighting within their district to claim the top spot. So that's really what we're talking about here. I like the Potomac District. I would agree, but I would say the Dulles race is kind of shaping up to be every bit as exciting. There you go.
Our last one for Fact or Fiction. Coaching is the X factor that is going to separate teams, especially this year with the restructuring of everything. Andy.
Well, I tell you what, this is a tough one because I've always said talent is what separates the teams, but coaching really does make a difference throughout the season. If there's one time that coaching maybe makes less of an X factor per se, is I think during the postseason, because I think all the coaches that are there are really good. Now that may mean it's more important, but that's where you see the talent start to come into play, where you start seeing the better teams advance. Bruce, I don't want to say coaching isn't an X factor, but I think the teams with the best players eventually are the ones that win the ball games. The coaches don't carry the football out there on the field.
Yeah, I was with you until you stepped right in the mud with that when you went going into the playoffs with that. For the exact reasons that Andy just laid out, that's why coaching is the X factor, because it is more of a level playing field. The rosters are more equivalent. Yeah, you have superstars, but top to bottom, the playoff teams are there for a reason, because they're good.
But Bruce,
because
how
the
many
coaching
touchdowns,
staff is good.
How many touchdowns does Mickey Thompson run for this year?
It's adjustments.
How many Charlie Pierce throw for this year?
It's adjustments. It's halftime adjustments.
It's players.
Players make the plays, but at this level, I would agree with you at the pro level, the higher you get. But at this level, and especially with this new format, when you've got all these different X factors and players in position to win, then the players execute. At this level, coaching is the X factor.
So you're saying coaching over talent will win in the postseason?
Okay. That's a deal.
You're good with that?
I've seen it happen. Okay. That's a deal.
All right. We'll find out.
That's it. That's it. Fact or fiction.
Fact or fiction. There you go. Fact. That was a fun segment. All right. Time now for our spirit battle here. The spirit battle this week features the Maroon Crew. I've seen in person a couple times this year, and the Orange Crush, who they're kind of like that extinct animal. We've heard about them. We've seen them a little bit here and there, Bruce. Crush back.
Yes, they are. This may be the most even spirit battle, in my opinion, that we've had this year. One, because of the game. One, because of the friendships outside of the 3 hours of game night. These guys grew up together. They're in the same community. They know each other very well. And you have the biggest factor, I think, of all right now is the whiteout. And the reason or the theme of the game. What the game is dedicated to that night. That's going to bring out and solidify that Orange Crush, who will all be wearing white on Friday night. I'm taking the Orange Crush in this one.
You are?
Yes.
What do you think, Taylor?
You know what? I'm impressed by Broad Run. So much so, Briarwoods, that I'm putting you on upset alert, because honestly, you guys packed the place out at North Stafford when you played North Stafford. I was impressed, but y'all were quiet. I mean, the numbers were great. And you guys had the signs, you had everything, all the pomp that needed to be there, but you didn't have the noise. Broad Run's going to bring the numbers and the noise. I'm taking you guys at home, but you guys got to show up and show me something. I looked over at the tailgate for the North Stafford game, which got so hyped, I saw maybe 30 people. I mean,
but that's
show
been
me
the theme,
something.
though. That's been the theme with the Orange Crush. Call them out, and 35 people show up. I haven't seen the Orange Crush. I haven't seen it in person. I've seen photo slides on Twitter of what looks like the Orange Crush. It's kind of, a la Bigfoot, Bruce. It's Bigfoot to me. I don't believe it. This is the Maroon Crew all the way. These kids that are at Broad Run right now, they've got school spirit. I'm telling you, it's going to blow the Orange Crush out of the water. I mean, I don't even know if they exist. I don't think the Orange Crush exists. Prove me wrong, Briarwoods. I'm telling you right now, I don't even know if they're real. It's Bigfoot to me.
Briarwoods, you got to do more than just throw some baby powder up in the air at the beginning of the game. That's not going to cut it anymore. Get crazy and do something. I want to see people just go nuts, and I haven't seen it. I've been around. You don't bring the noise.
And they don't have a Twitter account. They don't have a Twitter account.
That's strike two.
That's strike two. I mean, that's red flag right there. This is Bigfoot. I'm telling you right now, this is Bigfoot. All right, that'll do it here for our weekly spirit battle brought to you by the Atlanta Bread Company. Hope you'll go by and see our friends at Atlanta Bread. Tell them the Game Day Crew sent you. You get 10% off your lunch right up here behind.
Plays of the Week on the Game Day Broadcast Network are proudly presented by Verizon Wireless, the official wireless provider of the Game Day Broadcast Network.
Second down, 7. Handoff again. This time it's coming to the near side. Hilbert from Westfield. This one high in the air. Tut's got it back at the 18. Looking for a block. Tut picks up a couple. The wall is set. Tut down the sideline. Makes a move at the 40, 50. One man to beat. Tut's got it back to the 30, 25, and he's going to go to the 15. Charles Tut.
Just all Charles Tut up the sidelines. Watch this very good kick here, but he outkicks his coverage. Spirals it down there.
I don't know. I gotta tell you, you just can't kick it to Charles Tut.
The attack, he's going to play in the secondary.
So let's see what happens here. Gallagher takes the snap, back to pass, looking to the right side, under a lot of pressure, and he is going to get going down. Did he fumble? Yes, he fumbled, scooped up by Stonewall, goes to the end zone. Touchdown Raiders! Oh, baby. I think that might be where we get our biggest momentum shift.
First down and 10 for the Spartans. Here's Whiteswiller. First and 10, Wildcats at the 45. Walter hands it off.
The caboose is loose. Just like I said, we're not going to see a bunch of big plays. And what does Taylor do? He busts one out. Big touchdown for Centerville. Simple trap play. Once he gets to the second level, Nick and Zeiser's giving him the escort. Great blocking downfield.
I'll let you watch it right here from the goal line. We'll see if Smith will get in. I guarantee you he's sneaking it again. Big play here. Smith under center on 4th down and goal. Takes the snap and he sneaks forward. Did he get in? No, he did not. Broad Run home.
Spartans won the line of scrimmage on the defensive side that time. They stuck that play every time that Smith has kept it and tried to sneak. He shifted left.
That's a great job up front by the Spartans. I'll tell you what.
And
highlight that play right there.
25-yard field goal for the win. They're set. There's the hold, the kick. It's up and on its way, and it is good! The Bobcats win! 41-38 in a thrilling come-from-behind victory against the Stonewall Raiders. Stroman, empty backfield. He's going to throw the swing pass, and goodness, Greg Stroman uncorked that one.
That's his signature play right there. Skip, daddle, direct traffic, get in the open field, and then hit the afterburners. And the Bobcat defense couldn't find him, and he went to the house.
Rest assured, that one is on the top 10 this week. You might even see that on YouTube tonight.
This is it right here.
That's where being a kicker really matters.
And it's blocked. Potomac Falls will win.
What a block there!
And that is it, ladies and gentlemen.
Wanye Allen, it looked like had it. Potomac Falls wins 14-13. Wow, what an ending.
Once again, that homecoming magic coming to the crowd here. We were all talking, putting the focus on the kicker, on his ability to make it, but we completely forgot. The special teams coming out, getting the block.
Thank you for watching the Verizon Wireless Top 10 Plays of the Week on the Game Day Broadcast Network. For more coverage of Northern Virginia high school football, visit us online at GameDayMagazine.com and join the network today.
Welcome back to Game Day All-Access. I'm Andy Hayes, and right now joined on the set by two Broad Run Spartans here. Will Yancey, defensive lineman, and also Corey Hilbreth. Guys, welcome to Game Day All-Access. How you doing?
Good.
Well, you ought to be great. You're coming off a huge win. I mean, Will, I saw you kind of, skipping up to the chair here. I mean, this team's riding high right now, right?
Yes, sir.
What do you want to say to me? Because I picked against you last week. What do you want to say?
I feel like we all came out, the first half we were a little shaky. But we came out a different team at halftime. We came out, we were a much different team, but I don't think anybody expected that. I think it was a big upset for a lot of people. Everybody seemed to be against us, and we actually wanted to be the underdogs because we wanted that upset.
Coach Griffiths was talking about, a lot of haters out there drinking haterade. I know who he was talking to. He's talking to me. And that's just kind of motivation for you guys. Now, you proved something. Number one, you guys have been in some close games in the past couple years, and it hasn't really gone that way. You haven't been able to overcome some of the mistakes and so forth. Corey, confidence-wise, this has to be a huge confidence builder as you guys head into the game with Briarwoods.
Yeah, it's a great confidence builder. Especially since it's a short week, we have this carry over just, 4 days later, which I think actually is an advantage to us, to be honest, while they've been sitting for 2 weeks watching us. But
yeah, and you just didn't have any time to sit still. You guys are right back to work the next day at 4 o'clock here. Will, we know that mentally you guys can be ready for the game on Friday, but physically, you're a big guy. I mean, at one point you were so gassed they had to come out and help you get off the field for a couple plays because you were so tired. You were laying it all out there. And by the way, I was really impressed with you, so I'm not criticizing. I'm saying you just gave everything you had. Physically, how do you get ready for this game on Friday after a game on Monday?
I think you just take practice the best way you can. You got to come in with a good attitude. I think overall the having a good attitude will bring the physical part with it. If you're mentally there, your body will follow, and you got to stay healthy during practice. No dumb mistakes at practice, and you just got to stay healthy.
Well, I'm going to show this one play right here, and while we're talking, 4th down and 1. Game, kind of in the question here of where it's going to go. Tuscarora scores, it might be game over.
We're going to score. And as a defense, we all came together. We're just saying, let's go. Come on. We've held them 3 times. It's been 4th down. Every time they scored on the goal line. This is the time.
And the excitement there. Then the first play, Brady comes out and hits a great, pass down the field to Travis. At that point, did you kind of feel like things were turning?
At that point, I felt the momentum just shift from one sideline to the other, and yeah, we just ran off with it. Took off.
It was an awesome game. Now, Will, I mean, we kept calling your name on defense because you were everywhere, making plays here. You and Jack Hawkins. I mean, you two guys played. Maybe I think your best game I've seen on film of you and in person here. Talk a little bit about the defensive line. You guys have taken some heat this year a little bit with teams running the ball, and we kind of said, they can't stop the run. I said it last week, but you guys did that in this game in the second half when it mattered most here. That's got to build your confidence some.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to be the big guys up front. We wanted to stop the run, power, counter. We wanted to be right there in the mess. Making sure that we were shutting that down, because when we shut down the run, we knew that we had a good chance at winning the game, and that's that was what we drilled at practice, was stopping the run up front, stopping the run up front. That's all we talked about all week, was being big up front, filling your gap, knowing your assignment, your alignment, your keys. We all needed to be solid up front.
Well, it worked out, and it's a great win for you all. Let's change gears and talk Briarwoods. Now, you know, this is a game every year that you don't need to hype a whole lot. I don't really need to say anything. There's still going to be 6,000 to 7,000 people show up on Friday night. So when you play in this game, what's it like? Start with you, Corey.
It just gives you a bunch of energy, to be honest. But when I go on the field, we're on the field, I feel like it's all silent, to be honest. But I love coming out. Crowds all roaring. You know, when you score, it can either work with you a lot or it could work against you. But those are the ones you got to play for. Those are the ones you play for. Those are the ones you got to love.
Well, how about the fans, right? We know the Maroon Crew is going to be there on Friday night. Now, we're not getting into our spirit battle yet, but the Maroon Crews, they're pretty much there every week.
Yes,
After
sir.
this game on Monday night, they were blowing up Twitter, saying, "Bring on Briar, here we come." Talk to me a little.
Getting on the bandwagon, you know, coming and supporting out. I mean, we always had a great Maroon Crew, but I think right after that big win in Tuscarora, you know, being an undefeated team, I think people are really kind of looking at us. You know, everybody's like, hey, you know, let's go to the Broad Run game and, you know, support. And I'll tell you, you know, being on the field and hearing the Maroon Crew and, you know, just our fans go, it really gets you going. And hearing them when you run out on the field, it's just they do a really great job at getting people motivated on the field.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and throw it to you both. You know, we'll figure out how you're going to go into the debate here. But who's winning the spirit battle? I mean, Maroon Crew or the Orange Crush? What do you think?
Maroon Crew.
Not even close?
Yeah, they're crazy. They're crazy this year. I think they stepped it around this year.
They have.
From last year to this year, big difference.
All right, talk to me a little about where this game is won or lost for either team. What do you think the keys are here on Friday night?
I think Friday night we gotta stay with our game plan of what we had for these 3 days to prepare, and really kind of bottle up Trace. Make sure we can keep him.
Be key in this one, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
All right, a couple quick questions for you. All right, Jack Hawkins, pretty big fella. I'm just curious, who eats more when you go to dinner?
It's got to be me.
Is it really?
Yes, sir.
You can get him?
Yes, sir.
Where do you put it? I mean, he's a lot bigger and taller than you are.
He just finds his own place.
You got him, huh?
Yes, sir.
Corey, there's a lot of playmakers on this team, right? And you're a senior. You've been around here. You've been playing quite a bit over the past few years. Just talk about your leadership role that you're taking with this ball club and what you're trying to get across to maybe some of the younger guys.
As much as in practice and as in games, depending on the situation of the game, I'm not a real big vocal leader, but I try to lead by example. But when we need that little, you know, let's get it together here, come on, let's go, maybe at halftime, third quarter, fourth quarter, goal line stand or something, that's where I'm really trying to get everyone together and let's really go. And I think when people see the leaders on the team really believe that you're going to pull this out, everything just starts changing. Everyone's mindset just really takes off and goes in the same direction.
All right, I'm asking you both this question, final question. You play in 2 Battle of the Ashburn area games here. Battle of the Burn, round 2 is coming up Friday. You play against Stonebridge. You're the only team right now that gets to play both. It's pretty special. So I'm curious, which one's bigger? Which one's bigger to you?
I mean, of course, they're both games, so we take each game equally, you know, prepare for each game the same. But to me, I think they're both the same. I don't know.
I like that.
I'm gonna have to go with that.
I feel the exact same way. Yeah. They're both games, and they're both very important. You know, we treat every game as every other game. They're all the same.
Now, come district-wise, of course, it's Briarwoods, but bragging rights wise, they're both the same. Yeah.
It's hard to beat, and the atmospheres are hard to beat.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, listen, we appreciate you guys stopping by. It was a great time to come call your game Monday night, and we're looking forward to another good one here on Friday. Good luck to you.
Thanks,
as well.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks for coming out. All right.
Thank you.
Will Yancey and Corey Hilberth, you can watch them right here on Friday night, the game of the week. Broad Run Briarwoods coming up here on the Game Day Broadcast Network. We'll step aside for a quick break and come right back here on Game Day All-Access.
Who you got Friday?
Give me back my helmet.
I'm good.
Dude, give me back the helmet. Serious. I'm getting ticked. Give me back my helmet. Now.
Would you two guys quit fighting? This will get settled on Friday night. We got a show to do.
Give me back my helmet.
High school football fans, don't miss Game Day All Access each week online at GameDayMagazine.com. Dive into the area's best storylines and break down the biggest games to get you ready for the Friday night lights. Gameday All-Access, weekdays online at GameDayMagazine.com. There's only one Gameday.
Welcome back to Gameday All-Access. Andy Hayes, Bruce Bornarth, and Taylor Jensen. Great to have you guys with us here. We're counting down to the playoffs. I mean, it's hard to believe. Here we are down the backstretch of the regular season. Some great games coming up here on Friday night. Now it's time for our picks of the week. And as we mentioned here, pretty heated competition going on amongst the Game Day staff. Our producer, Helene Shane, went 10-0 into our picks. Bruce, are you ready, or have you just caved it in? Have you quit? I didn't know if you're playing this week. Have you quit?
I'm ready. I'm down 5, so wait till you see what's happening this week.
You better call your wife and ask her to help you, because you were doing okay for a while, and I can tell she hasn't been helping you. Upset week. All right, here we go. Woodgrove at Loudoun County. Now, the Wolverines and the Raiders played in some important games last year. Loudoun County spanked Woodgrove a couple times. So the Wolverines looking for revenge here, Bruce. Does it happen? What do you think?
I think so. I love Loudoun County, but what happened against Dominion just shocked me and left me going, what happened? I'm taking Woodgrove.
You know, there's two things that are making me take Woodgrove. That's the offensive line. They got the size, and they got John.
Well, the Wolverines, he makes them that good. All right, John Champ at Freedom. A brewing rivalry here down in South Riding. This is a great game in the future.
Freedom's been impressive this year.
Bruce, I agree. They're better. Go ahead.
You know, I'm going to go with the Freedom Eagles, too. I believe that with the new coaching staff that's there, they're going to start turning things around, and I think that this is going to be a good game for them to put another one up in the win column. Take the Eagles, book it.
You know, they've been close. They've been close. And Coach Van Acker's been, you know, hanging in there, frustrated because his team's been on the doorstep. They almost got the win at Potomac Falls last week. Look, I think this team has a little bit more experience than what Champ does. I think it's going to be close. John Champ's coming on a little bit. But take Freedom. I mean, it might be an overtime field goal that wins this one for the Eagles. All right, McLean at Fairfax. Nightfield here. Talk to me a little bit about this one, Bruce. McLean coming off a tough loss. Same with Fairfax. Who wins?
Yeah, probably 8 out of 10 years in this game I'm going to take Fairfax, but this is one of the 2 years that I'm going to take McLean. McLean, so yeah, some tough times this year, but they're playing well, and I just like what McLean's doing over there. I like the way the direction that program's going.
You know, with McLean, I got to see him. I had to see him play in person, so I did that. And I went and saw them play Herndon, and I like their defensive unit, especially that linebacking core. They can lock down the run, which, as you know, is what Nick Scott is known for doing. So I'm going to take McLean because they're going to take Nick Scott out of the football game.
Not happening. Not happening. McLean has trouble with athletes on the edge, and that's what Fairfax has. Take the Rebels. The Rebels will rebound this week and get a win. All right, T.C. Williams. Tough loss to South County. This T.C. Williams team is a lot better than I think we've given them credit for. They were close last week to upsetting South County. Almost had them. Now they played Lee. Now, Bruce, Lee, as we know, has given up a lot of points. 61 a couple times in a game, couple games here at the beginning of the season. But they also score a lot of points. This might be the most entertaining game in the area if you don't like defense. What do you think?
Get a stopwatch and don't blink. I mean, if you like track like I do, this is a track meet back and forth. Remember the Titans in this one. Lee just gives up way, way, way too many points.
This game, the style of play and the pace of play is playing right into what T.C. Williams wants to do with those athletes. Lee likes to do that stuff, don't get me wrong, but they don't have the athletes that T.C. has. Got to take the Titans.
Well, I tell you what, Mr. Jolly may disagree down at Lee. This game is going to be a good ball game. I'm going to take T.C. Williams based on the schedule strength that they've played and how they played against better football teams. They've beaten Oakton. They almost got South County. Take T.C. Williams. I think my buddy Bruce and Taylor got it. Heritage. What gives?
Look at the grin on that face over there. He's just doing this to me. You know, I'm down 4 or 5 games, whatever it is right now, and he's trying to pick us over. I'm taking Parkview on the road.
Bold.
I thought he was going to take Heritage and make it twice in 1 year that he picks against Parkview, but I'm taking the Heritage pride. Reed Prosser's going to turn that program around. Mark my words. He's going to get a second win of the season.
Yeah, I agree with you, Taylor. I think Heritage, even though they've had some tough losses, they've played some good competition. Take Heritage in this game. Bruce, I'm sorry. All right, Mount Vernon at Falls Church. Here we go. Big game now. This is a big game in the National District.
And down. And you look at Falls Church, I go on both down. Falls Church is, I think, on the way up. Falls Church is having one of the better seasons they've had in a long time. I think it continues for the Jaguars.
Yeah, I'm going to take Falls Church. They just seem to be kind of on a hot streak this year, just based off of what I've seen from them and how they're playing. I'm going to take Falls Church, but honestly, flip a coin, because I think this really is going to be a good football game.
The key guy in this game to watch is Dion DuPont. 271 on the ground. Last week, he was dominating. Now, if Mount Vernon can't contain him, they've got no chance in this game. I believe that Falls Church at home will win this ball game, but this will be a great game. Coach Wells is doing great things down at Mount Vernon. Keep an eye on the majors. If you want a point spread, this is a pick'em game right here. We're going with the Jaguars. All right, Loudoun Valley at Dominion. Folks, it's been a while since we've said huge game at Dominion High School here. Carl Buckwalter's doing a great job for the Titans. And this group for Dominion has a lot of confidence right now. To Dominion for the right to say they're in first place in the Dulles District. Who wins?
Yeah, good things happening at Dominion. Finally, that football program, beginning towards the end of last year, though, you could see Dominion improving, and they're getting better and better, and they're getting in the mix. Valley's already there, though. I like the Vikings in this game, but that doesn't mean that I don't like Dominion, because it's exciting what's happening over there.
Kudos to the Titans this year. I'm proud of you guys. A lot of people think that you guys are on the up and up, and I would tend to agree with that, but it's going to fall short against Valley. Danny McGrath has got himself a good football team out there that, honestly, we could see make a nice little run in the postseason.
Yeah, I agree. Coach McGrath, being a former Hokie, lineman, he knows how to teach those guys up front as far as running the football. So I like that to be the difference in this game. I think Dominion's size will cause a problem for Loudoun Valley, but I like Valley. For whatever reason, they kind of have that little it factor here this year. All right, Patriot at Stonewall Jackson. Bruce says, Patriot, you're not a contender. You're a pretender. You haven't played anybody that is impressive to Bruce. So, therefore, you can't be a contender this season. Bornarth, they're going on the road to take on Stonewall Jackson. Patriot people are not going to like you very much. By the way, you're not making a lot of friends around the region here. Calling everybody out. Who wins this one?
I'm going to use your logic and your reasoning that you use a lot of times. Go with the athletes. Even though I'm not real excited about the way Stonewall's playing. I think they're underachieving for the talent they have. Their roster, they have as much talent as anybody out there. For whatever reason, why it's not really coming together, I don't know, but I think talent wins out this week.
I am going to go the complete opposite direction Bruce is going, because I think Patriot, they smacked up on Battlefield pretty good. And you know what?
Not Battlefield. They haven't played Battlefield. Now,
not Battlefield.
You're about to cause a civil war down in Haymarket. I apologize, folks. Calm down, people in purple. Don't riot down there. Be careful now what you say.
Battlefield scored a lot of points on Stonewall last week in the fourth quarter. It was 24-21, and Battlefield was behind the Stonewall. And I think Stonewall they don't have the X factor, the way that they put games away. It's just not coming together. They don't have that factor to their game this year, and I think that's what Patriots going to capitalize on. I think they're going to come away with the win because they are going to pull away in the fourth. It's going to be close all the way up until that fourth quarter, and then Patriot has the ability to close football games out. That's why I'm taking them.
I'll tell you what, at first I kind of thought, well, Patriot hasn't really been tested. They beat Hilton. As soon as that happened,
that's who it was.
Radar went right up. This is a good football team. It's a good defense. It's a good offense. Now, let me tell you one thing about Stonewall. At any moment, Stonewall could flip the switch and be the best team in this area. Bruce is right about that. The talent is immense down there, and they're just getting healthy. Greg Stroman had a great game against Battlefield. So don't be surprised if that carries over into this ball game. And Patriot could be in trouble. They could be in trouble. This is the one team that could run out and run away from them in a hurry. But there's just something about this Patriot team. So Taylor made his pick. I'm going with Stonewall. I think Stonewall rebounds. I'm sorry, Red Nation. You're going to have to prove it again for the second time this year that you can beat a top-flight athletic group in the Raiders. So there you go. I'm taking the Raiders. Bruce, we'll agree for one time. All right, here we go. Big one now. This is always a great game. Westfield and Robinson. That's all you got to say. Physical. Got Joe Wilson. He likes to run for touchdowns. You got Westfield's defense. They like to run for touchdowns. They like to pick the ball up and run 95 yards. They like to hit people in the mouth nonstop. Westfield is angry right now. They're angry because they just got whipped by Centerville. I mean, it was bad. It was bad. So, Robinson, I kind of feel sorry for you a little bit because you're coming into this game going, man, we got Westfield. Westfield is not happy. They don't lose 2 games in a row very often here, Brucey. I don't remember that happening in a long while. Who wins this one?
And I don't remember Westfield getting shut out in, I don't know, forever. I don't know that that's ever happened since maybe year 1. Maybe the freshman team once in a while gets pasted. But Andy's right. Westfield, too proud a program. After last week and that performance against Centerville, I felt sorry. I didn't know who it was this week. I don't know if it was Robinson or who it was. But I felt sorry for whoever was up next for Westfield. I like the Bulldogs big time.
Yeah, you got to take the Bulldogs in this game. And the reason I'm taking them is, yes, Joe Wilson, phenomenal running back. But Westfield's best defense in this game is going to be keeping their offense on the football field. Because you keep Joe Wilson off the field, he's not a factor anymore on the offensive side of football. He's just not going to do anything if he's on the sideline. That's what Westfield's going to try to do, and we've seen them shut out teams who can run the football really well, a la Stonebridge. So you got to take the Westfield Bulldogs.
Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, Joe Wilson, he wasn't stopped last year by Westfield. I mean, he scorched him, okay? Now, last week, Centerville scorched this defense running the football. Bruce, you were there. You watched it. You can go back and watch the replay, folks. This defense needs to show up this week. And I'm going to tell you one thing about Westfield, okay? This is the most important game on their schedule, because if they lose this game, confidence goes way down. If they win this game, they'll forget about that game with Centerville and write it off as a rain game. We'll get you later, right? Am I wrong about that?
No, you're on it.
Okay, so here's the bottom line. You got Robinson, who runs the ball well. Westfield, who didn't stop the run the last couple weeks here, but they've got something that Robinson can't stop either, and that's a great run game as well. I'm going to take Westfield in this game. It's always close. It's a touchdown game most of the time. But I'm telling you, Joe Wilson might go off in this game. He might put 4 touchdowns on the scoreboard. This defense for Westfield, you're being called out a little bit. You better stand tall. All right, Broad Run and Briar Woods, the game of the week now. Spartans coming off a big win Monday night, saying, hey, we figured it out. We've unlocked the combination to winning a close ball game. Confidence at an all-time high, Bruce. And here you got Briarwoods. He's just been sitting back watching all this stuff going, you haven't beaten us yet. Come on. Who wins?
Ask me Saturday morning.
No, I'm asking you right now.
I think the way you ended that introduction, I think tells the tale there. You know, Briarwoods coming off of their bye, basically 2 weeks off, and off of a loss, first one in 33 games when it occurred a couple of weeks ago. And I think the Falcons are sitting back there going, okay. It's that carousel at the park, running around and around. Somebody's not getting love this week, or somebody hadn't been talked about in the past week or so. It was Broad Run going into the Tuscarora game with a little chip on his shoulder, a little bit of feeling maybe disrespected a little bit here. Broad Run now sticking their chest out, feeling pretty proud of themselves, and rightfully so. I think it's Briarwood's turn to sit back there and say, okay, you know, you kind of disrespected us a little bit here. We'll show you. I'm taking the home court.
You know, Broad Run, I told you guys after the game Monday night that I'd give y'all some love. You guys won the football game. Great comeback. That was a quality win. Every good program needs a win like that. But you're playing with Briarwoods Falcons. And you just played on Monday night. You got basically 3 days of practice before you got to take on these guys right here. And I don't see it happening. It's at Briarwoods. Trace McSorley, that offensive line, I don't see too many playmakers. Brandon Polk is back. I don't see anyone who can stay in front of him. You got to take Briarwoods at home. We say it all the time on the show. You're the champs till they get knocked off. Got to take Briarwoods.
Haterade, Homerade right here. Go figure. Both of you take Briarwoods. Give me a listen. Their chocolate strawberries depend on their pick every week here on the show. Listen, this one is a real simple analysis, I think. Number one, I don't think Briarwoods runs the football that well. I think they throw it extremely well. Obviously with Trace, he's a phenomenal football player. But their strength is actually what Broad Run does better defensively. Okay? Here, follow along, Bruce. Now you're already not paying attention to me. Now, offensively, okay, Broad Run here runs the ball pretty well, but they've got athletes on the edge that we saw North Stafford cause a little problem for the Briarwoods defense. So even though you guys can't see this through your orange-colored goggles, okay, I'm going to tell you that this game is a lot better for Broad Run than in years past. Does that mean they're going to win? That's when we get to the problem here. I kind of have to agree with my cohorts here, because until you knock down the big dog on the block, then you can't really be taken seriously. Tuscarora is a new school. They played great. But you knock down Briarwoods and everybody's on the bandwagon. Bruce will be running as fast as he can and leaping to your bandwagon, Broad Run. This is going to be a close game. But I think the difference in this one is Trace McSorley. And I feel like the defense for Briarwood, because you thought I was just getting ready to pick Briarwoods. I'm taking Broad Run in this game. This is the upset pick of the week, and I'm going to tell you why. Old Mo, Bruce, to go and said, we're ready. I believe him. I saw it in his eyes. Briarwoods is sitting back for a couple weeks. They're a little bit, complacent. Maybe they're going to put pressure on this Briarwoods defense. And I'm telling you right now, they're walking out of that place with a win, because you know what? They've done it before. 2 years ago they did it. Matter of fact, last team from Loudoun County to beat Briarwoods is Broad Run. Take the Spartans. There you go. Upset pick. I'm on the bandwagon. No more haterade from me, Coach Griffiths. Now we'll see if the boys will prove me right. Good? You guys going to talk to me later on tonight?
We're good.
My name is Dr. Felix Yuska, and both my wife and I own the Spine and Joint Health Center here in Fairfax City. I'm really has here is they always have the parent that always has access to me. So here in our office we have access to ultrasound, muscle stem, Russian stem, things to strengthen, take the inflammatory response out of the joint process for those athletes so that they recuperate much faster. At the Spine and Joint Health Center, we would like to be your team doctors so that we can go down this journey together, both on and off the field.
The Spine and Joint Health Center, offering patients superior, results-oriented care, proudly serving Northern Virginia with the finest spine and joint care.
All right, hey, it's time for the mailbag now. And we'll always remind you all out there, by now, if you're not joining us up on Facebook and, joining us on Twitter, following us there at GBN Mobile, what's wrong with you? I mean, are you Bruce Bornarth? You don't use Twitter? I mean, get on Twitter so you can get all the great stuff that we put out there. Taylor, I mean, help your man out a little bit, will you?
Oh, I've tried. Grant's the guy that hooks him up.
I know, it's terrible. All right, listen. All right, now we got some mailbag questions. You ready, Bruce?
Roll.
There's people that are starting to send in some good stuff. Here we go. First question, Taylor, what do we got?
First one up is from our good friend Chris Barassa at Boring Assa. Predict the final for North 6A, 5A, and 4A. Andy.
Well, he always asks these questions where I got to do a lot of research. You know what I mean? So, Bruce, I'll explain what that is to you here a little bit later on in the show. All right, 6A prediction. You ready? Centerville, Lake Braddock. Put it down. Mark it down. If this doesn't happen, then somebody laid an egg. That's the bottom line, okay? That's the final in 6A. In 5A, I have Massaponax versus Stonebridge. Why? Because the team that plays the best in the postseason typically wears blue and white getting into the postseason. They're going to get on a roll here. You're not going to want to see them. And Massaponax, nobody wants to see them. We're going to see a rematch of the 2010 I think it was state semifinal where they faced off in Ashburn. That's a rematch, but it's going to be at their place. And let me tell you something. Massaponax people, they want that. They want that.
I think what you're going to see there is the game that Ashburn has been crying for the past 5 or 6 years. Stonebridge, Briarwoods in that game.
We'll find out. All right, final one here, 4A. I think it's going to be Sharando and Eastern View. That's right, Eastern View. They're a good ball club. They waxed Hanley. And Sharando's really starting to put it together. I think Bill Hall's got himself a...
Teams will or will not make the playoffs. Andy, there's a lot of bubble teams out there this year. Who you got?
Well, these are always tough predictions because there's so much football left to be played, and PowerPoints really, are what we're looking at here. I can tell you 3 teams for all 3 conferences or sections, whatever you want to call it, that I think you got to kind of keep an eye on that they could be bubble teams. Now, they're either halfway in now, but 1 foot out kind of deal. McLean is certainly one in 6A, Stonewall, and West Potomac. Those are the 3 that are kind of right on the fringe in 6A North, so keep an eye on them. Now, in 5A, you got Lee, Edison, and Brook Point. Those teams really need to win. They need to win and win strong down the backstretch here, otherwise they might be outside looking in. And then 4A, you have, listen, Bruce, and imagine what could be on the line in Week 10. Fauquier and Liberty and Amherst. Those are 3 outstanding programs that may be on the bubble here in the 4A playoffs. So they need to finish strong. But could you imagine that if that Fauquier Liberty game was for the playoffs?
Whoa.
Oh, man, is that going to be drama.
You talk about taking the Bird Bowl to another level. But I'll tell you what, either one of those teams, especially Liberty, if they get in, watch out.
Champion team. Will we have a state champion team from Nova this year? Nova, for those of you who don't know, stands for Northern Virginia. And he thinks we will. Andy, do you agree?
You know, I'm kind of torn here. I think one of the problems we all have in Northern Virginia is we wear some Northern Virginia goggles. And we kind of feel like our best teams are just better than everybody else across the state. But if you've watched the state championships as closely as I have and Bruce has over the past couple of years, Taylor has as well, you realize real fast that the beach teams have been dominating our teams in the postseason when they get to that point, when they get to that final game. Now, there's two teams in 6A that I have concerns about for Centerville and Lake Braddock. If those are the two teams up here, you know, Ocean Lakes and Oscar Smith are every bit as talented, okay? And I feel like, you know, with the dominance that they've had in the past couple of years of being in those games, you know, I think the challenge is on our teams up here to prove that that's not going to happen again. So I'm not 100% all 5A North. The state championship is going to come down to the 5A North sectional championship, okay, between LC Bird, Massaponax, Stonebridge, Briarwoods, one of those four teams. I feel like those teams are going to be playing, you know, if that's who it's going to end up being, I think that semifinal game essentially is going to be the state champion. So well, I think that happens. And then 4A, forget it. We already talked about that. Phoebus and Lake Taylor.
You're right. I think if it's going to come, it's going to come either out of Centerville or it's going to come out of, if you include the Stafford schools like you did in that 5A group and just look at the section here, yes. Because I'm going to go a little different direction here. I kind of am pulling a fastball here on you, throwing a knuckleball at you. So here's what your list of the top 5, which I just saw before the show, is fine. I mean, so we could split it up and talk about it. But I've got another list that I'm going to talk about in a second.
I'll throw you out mine. Ready?
You go first.
1 and 1A, Caleb Henderson, Scott Walter. Okay? And you could flip those right now. I think they're both the same quality of player. Trace Mc's the 5 best guys at quarterback here in the area. It's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And the schools they're from?
Well, I mean, you got mostly 6A schools, right? Yeah.
No, I mean,
Lake Braddock, Centerville, Briarwoods, 5A, Trayvon McMillian, Hilton, and then Greg Stroman at Stonewall Jackson.
I'm just saying, not everybody out there might not know where the school.
You're not putting me on the spot enough. Now I got to name the schools.
Well, yeah.
You want their height and weight too? And you want the roster?
We're educating the people out here, okay? And before we get to my list,
that was for you. That wasn't for the fans out. That was for you.
I could have done that with multiple choice.
All right.
Yeah. Back to the last question, real quick. Division 4A. The reason we say that, Phoebus and Lake Taylor. Forget about it. All right. Now, I'm going to talk about, because you can't argue with that list. Yeah, you might have another favorite or two you can put in there, but that's a solid list. That's as good as it's going to get in this area. I want to talk about the class of sophomores +1 real quick. Let's talk about the future for just a second. I got 3 sophomore quarterbacks that before they're done are going to knock your socks off, and 1 junior coming at you. I'm going to start with the junior, Brady Reitzel at Broad Run. Just a junior. You watch him over the next year or two. Now, let me talk about these 3 sophomores. Joe Thompson, Stonebridge, Billy Pickett, Westfield, and Daniel Smith.
4 sophomores. I like it. There's 5.
And there's a freshman at Broad Run. When he gets his turn, watch out.
Yeah. I mean, I tell you what, there are some great young quarterbacks coming up. So he doesn't know what the internet is. All right, last question there.
All right, next up is from @Feed. 4th and 1 or 4th and goal from the 1-yard line. Bruce, I'm gonna pick your brain with this one. Who gets the handoff? Because I know you can pull names out of a hat.
Absolutely no brainer. Now, I hope we can include graduates. Breon Earl.
Would you?
Then the discussion begins for second place.
Now we're talking about players. Now we've already answered that one in the past.
Currently, players.
I know, but he's so good at that. It's worth repeating. All right, in no particular order. Tyler Thrasher Walker, Westfield. Corey Hilbreth, Broad Run. Noah Reimers.
I think you go a couple other guys, too. You could throw a couple guys. I mean, I like Evan Gray down in there for Westfield. I mean, he's a guy you give the ball to him. He makes things happen. Don't forget about my guy Trevor O'Brien at Lake. There's other guys. What about Sterling Daly? I mean, he's got over 1,200 yards already, you know, double-digit touchdowns. He can get it done, right? I mean, let's not forget Daquan Earl, the younger brother of Breon Earl, who you were just talking about because you can't get past 2008. But the fact of the matter is those are some
caboose too.
The caboose can get it done really well. I mean, that's my favorite. That's my favorite nickname. He's awesome. Nickname. There you go. Last one here. One more question. We'll allow one more. Here we go.
All right, this one's coming from @JamesLee0112. I like this question. Can Chantilly beat Westfield in the spirit battle and the game? Not just spirit battle, because sometimes you pick one in the spirit battle, you go the opposite way with the game. Can they sweep it this year?
You know what? I was down at Chantilly today talking to the senior class. Had a great time with the Purple Platoon, who I feel like has every bit of chance to beat the Dog Pound this year in the spirit battle. Dog Pound's kind of been slacking a little bit, I think, overall compared to what they did as a standard the past couple of years. They set that standard. I didn't set that standard, right, Bruce? Well, in the rain, so I like the both of them. The question is can Chantilly beat them in both? Hasn't been done a lot. It has not been done a lot. A couple years ago it has. The answer is of course they can. It's Chantilly Westfield, man. You throw the records out. You throw Bornarth's spirit battle conversation out the window. It doesn't matter. If you want it, you can go take it. It's absolutely possible, James. Absolutely. You got to believe, son. You can.
That's debatable. But I'm going to try and maybe show a little bit here right now. I have already, maybe irreparably, like that word, ticked off the Chantilly people. They're already mad at me. So it's just a degree of how mad. Can I make them any madder? Maybe. But why not just make Chantilly a little bit madder at me, then get Westfield mad at me now as well? So I'm going to stick with Chantilly being mad at me and say no.
This is called mitigating damage here, Bruce. You like that word? Mitigating.
I like that.
He's mitigating damage here by picking Chantilly.
I'll say that Chantilly will win this.
I mean, they were talking about that today. They said Taylor's still picking us at 5-5. I was like,
I'd say 5-5, 6-4. I'm still sticking to it.
Me, man.
That's the first time I love my partner here, but that's the first time I've heard the 6-4.
Yeah, it started 7-3.
No. Hey, let's not get carried away now.
Yeah, right. You're already backpedaling. Hey, folks, we want to thank you for watching the cause again here on Friday night. It's a battle for a better cause. Again, this is a game that every year has a great cause behind it. This year we're honoring the life of Gavin Rupp, who was a young man here in Ashburn who lost his life to cancer here this past offseason. Proceeds from the t-shirt sales go 100% to the ipromise15.org foundation. You guys make sure you support it. Buy a t-shirt. They're really cool. Gavin's favorite team in college football was Ohio State, so you can see that the numbers on the back and the colors are in Ohio State colors. And folks, we like to send out our prayers and heartfelt thoughts with the Rupp family. I'm sure they'll be paying attention to this great community support here on Friday night. Let's show them what we're all about here. For Bruce Bornarth, Taylor Jensen, I'm Andy Hayes. We'll see you next week on Game Day.
School football. This exclusive broadcast is being powered by Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy. Get back in the game of life. Manhattan Pizza, now serving Ashburn, South Riding, and Leesburg with the best dang pizza in the world. Verizon Wireless, the official wireless provider of the Game Day Broadcast Network. Diamond Sports Training. Train with DST Performance today. Bellator Sports Memorabilia, the premier sports memorabilia store in Northern Virginia. EndZoneCamera.com, the most efficient and affordable end-zone camera system on the market. The Spine and Joint Health Center, offering patients superior, results-oriented care, proudly serving Northern Virginia with the finest spine and joint care. Quarterback University, take your skill to the next level and enhance your future today. By Max Muscle Sports Nutrition, Max Muscle, partners in health. Atlanta Bread Company of Sterling, come for the food, stay for the culture.